So we are here on our series on the International Yoga Day, and we have a very special guest, Shri Atman Ravi ji, who is the founder of AIR, Air Institute of Realization and Air Center of Enlightenment. I hope I pronounce it right, sir.
Yeah. It hardly matters, but it's good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And I was reading your profile, and you have such an inspiring journey from a successful business person to someone who has given that up in search of the truth. So, for our viewers, could you please take us through your journey? What made you realize that there's a world and there are bigger conscious things to chase than mere worldly things?
Okay, I lost your voice in the last few seconds, but my journey, as you would see, is a journey which moved from that first peak of achievement, and then it moved on to the second peak of fulfillment, and finally to the third peak of enlightenment. It's a journey which is what I believe we should take. We have rare cases like the Buddha, who moved from a journey of achievement straight to a journey of enlightenment. And that journey is a very big jump. To be able to take that jump, to leave everything in one moment is not easy. But my journey I was achieving success after success. But then one day, my master, my mentor, Dada J.P. Vaswani, my Guruji, asked me the question, what is the purpose of life? We keep adding zeros. We are running in a race. It's a chase. We want to be an ace. And we are adding zeros. But in the end, we'll keep adding the zeros, and that first digit will drop. And what will be left is just a set of zeros. Because nothing is ours. We come with nothing, we go with nothing. This realization is a problem. This knowledge we all have. Sabko gyan hai. Anubhuti nahi hoti. I hope I can use Hindi also a little bit, or is it okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So gyan sabko hai. Everybody has the knowledge, but people don't have the anubhuti. So this is the challenge. So So I went on. I left a successful business, lived a life of fulfillment for a few years, traveled to 100 countries, tried to explore what life is about. Then finally, I got the spark that I am not this. One day people will say, he passed away. We all leave the body and we depart. But where do we depart? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of life? It's to realize that I am not this. The Upanishads 5,000 years ago says, neti, neti. Neti, neti means not this, not this. Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi means thou art that, you are that. And that is the spirituality that we talk about. Spirituality has been diluted in this world today. Yoga, you talked about yoga, it has been diluted in the world today because people don't know the true meaning of it. So my journey is that, a journey from achievement to fulfillment to enlightenment.
Wonderful, sir. Thanks for sharing. On this day, which is the International Yoga Day, what has sadly happened is the entire concept of yoga has been seen now in this context, modern context, in a very narrow format. Is about physical agility. It's just about that physical being, While as the real yoga has a deeper spiritual connect, how do we how can we go back to that original concept of yoga where it's not just limited to your physical being, but goes beyond that,
I think we have to understand the basic word yoga. If you look at yoga, if you look at the word biryani is biryani. It cannot be pizza. It's what I'm saying. You need to get to the simple word yoga. The word yoga comes from the word yuj. The word yuj means union. What people have done, they have made yoga into a business. They have said yoga is a union of body, mind, and spirit. This is a common, unfortunate concoction manipulation of the yoga institutes. Because every yoga institute is charging money and making money, and that's the only objective. Whereas the true meaning of yoga is spiritual. There is no money involved, because in the spiritual journey, money is just a small tool we need to live, to fulfill our need. Money doesn't become our greed. If the moment money becomes a greed, then it's not yoga, then it's not spirituality. So people think yoga, ideally, people think of yoga as two things. One, asana, which is physical exercise, and two, pranayama, which is breathing techniques. But unfortunately, these are the two elementary starting steps towards that ultimate, what even Saint Patanjali said. He talked of the 8 limbs of yoga. When he talked of the 8 limbs of yoga, he said yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So I know that it's too premature to say all this now, but the point is, yoga means union. And this union, if you want to understand what is this union, in very simple words, a good SIM card has a good connection with a satellite. The moment your SIM card is not okay, it says no network, the tower is missing. When you are going into a new territory, it says roaming. And when you're roaming, actually, you are not in yoga, you are in bhoga. And bhoga is when your SIM card gets connected to a wrong network, it may show connected, but there is no signal. So I think that yoga, the best way to understand yoga, can we be in union with the divine? Can we be united? Can we not be lost in this samsara, this world of possessions, pleasures, people? We sink in this world. And our goal is to be liberated from bhoga and to be in yoga, to be in union.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. For our viewers, where we have a lot of people, ordinary people like me, who are not, who are at the surface of the entire premise of yoga. For us, we don't have the courage to take a big decision like leaving everything in search of the truth. For us, how can yoga benefit us in our day-to-day lives? What are the ways in which we can look at yoga and make it part of our lifestyle?
Yoga is a choice. If you do not want to do yoga, or you do not want to rather be in yoga, then you are in this world. What is yoga? In essence, what is yoga? Yoga is the ability to connect to a source of power, which can give you a lot of peace and bliss and happiness. So that's a choice. Ordinary people are lost in this commercial yoga, and people are saying, I'm going to buy a new yoga mat and yoga music and yoga shorts and yoga dress and yoga. No, but that's not yoga. To be in yoga means that I have been connected to a power. I am able to accept. I am able to surrender. I am able to live as the divine spirit. On the contrary, a normal person is so busy trying to be happy. He's chasing happiness. His happiness is like a shadow. He's running in this material world. He has been taught success is equal to happiness. He is taught that he has to be an achiever. A small child in school is told to run. So the whole concept for a normal, ordinary, or basic person in this world is to understand that yoga can give peace. Peace is the foundation of happiness. Yoga can unite us with a power, and that power can transform our life. So basically, if you look at why yoga, there are two things in this world, primarily, pleasure and pain. Man is trying to attain pleasure. Man is running away from pain. But yoga is a solution for eternal happiness, not just ordinary momentary pleasure which comes in the samsara or the bhoga. You may have a cigarette, you may have a Johnny Walker, you may have something. It will give you momentary pleasure. But will it give you eternal happiness? Will it give you peace? Will it give you that divine bliss? So ordinary people must not think of yoga as something complicated. What is this yoga? When you look at a Baba, any Baba, doing some asanas which are impossible, turning your hands like this, turning your legs. You start wondering, what the hell is yoga? But that is not yoga. That is just asana. Or you do some complicated breathing techniques, some pranayama. The common people fear, they develop a fear. What is this yoga? Yoga is being in union. Either it is through dhyana yoga or meditation, karma yoga or action, bhakti yoga or devotion, jnana yoga or education. These are the 4 known methods of yoga. Of course, I discovered a 5th method, which we can talk later. But the world, even Vivekanand or Adi Shankara or Ramana Maharishi, they would talk of these 4 states of yoga. And this is yoga a normal human being should try to get into, so that he doesn't sink into bhoga, doesn't sink into this material world, which is going to create desires which promise to quench his thirst, but ultimately make him burst.
While we are on this topic, sir, I want to also understand from you that at your Institute of Realization and the Center of Enlightenment, and for the benefit of our viewers, what all is offered, how it is different from what we see around, being offered.
So I'm moving back to a landscape mode. I hope this is okay. Can you see me here?
One of the devices needs to be disconnected. There are 2 devices, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm doing this because it's on landscape. Yeah. I hope this is okay, man.
Good.
Okay. So I request you to just repeat that so that I don't miss.
So, what kind of training programs and yoga offerings do you have at the Institute of Realization and Center of Enlightenment? For our viewers, how can they be part of it and benefit from it?
The Air Center of Enlightenment or the Air Institute of Realization believes in the truth. And the truth is that you can perform yoga where you are, whoever you are, without anything. You don't need complicated yoga institutes. When I was in a talash, I went to search for what is this yoga institute. I went to Rishikesh. I went to hundreds of yoga institutes. I could barely find 1 or 2, which were actually, for example, the Divine Life Society of Swami Sivananda. Very few institutes talk of real yoga. So what we at Air Institute, at AIR or at ACE, the Air Center of Enlightenment, we believe in helping people realize the truth. So if you are sitting in a place, what do you know? What do you need to be in yoga? Nothing. You just need to be in silence. What is silence? People think that meditation is sitting with the spine erect and then in some music and then you are sitting in a pose of yoga. And then what happens? The mind wanders everywhere. Is this yoga? Is this meditation? No, sorry, this is not yoga. This is not meditation. You can sit in a comfortable chair wherever you are. And you have to be in yoga, what we teach people, cut the MTR, the mental thought rate. We have heard of BMR, the body's metabolic rate. The body's metabolic rate is burning calories, right? The MTR is the mental thought rate. So the mind is producing and thought every second. It can produce 50 thoughts a minute. It can produce 50,000 thoughts a day. How do you stop this rascal? This rascal is robbing our yoga and taking us into bhoga. I'm talking to you, your mind is already thinking something else and your mind is looking somewhere else and your eyes are seeing something and your stomach is saying, I'm hungry. So the mind is all the time jumping like a monkey. Yoga, we teach people, is to cut down the MTR. Try to cut the number of thoughts till you reach a state of just one thought. This is what many people use as, they say, guided meditation. You try to focus on a thought and you try to be in that state known as consciousness. The state of consciousness is a state where there are no thoughts. A thought comes into your consciousness like a fish that enters the ocean of consciousness. So you are no more a slave of your mind. You become a master. So this is what we teach people. You don't have to come to me. You don't have to pay me anything. See, the problem is when it becomes commercial, Yoga is a divine act. The act of yoga is to be connected. So what we teach people, we teach methods to silence the mind, methods to be able to be in consciousness. Somebody asked me, okay, I can't control my mind. You're telling me silence the mind. It's so easy. I tell them, look at the word monkey, M-O-N-K-E-Y. The word monkey is the mind. Cut the tail. If you cut the tail, the E-Y, what's left is a monk. It's a silent monk. The tail EY is ever yearning, ever yelling. We are constantly in this noise and we do not hear a divine voice. Therefore, our challenge to be in yoga, because we don't want to manipulate people. We don't want to create a humbug. No, we are sincerely in the mission of helping people get enlightenment and realizing the truth. And you can do it whether you're in the US, we have people coming on a Zoom call every day from all over the world, but there's no commerce involved. It is just a person's ability to slow down your pace, to slow down your thoughts. The moment you are in yoga, you're in the state of consciousness, you are able to contemplate. You're in the state known as Chaturyam. You're in a state known as Samadhi. You're in a state known as Sat Chit Anand. And in that state of Sat Chit Anand, you enjoy an ecstasy, a bliss, which is beyond ordinary pleasure. So I don't know whether I got to your point, but we don't offer any complicated courses. So the first thing you do when you want to go to a yoga course, they tell you, you want 1 month charge, or you want 3 month charge, or you want 12-month charge. The moment it's that, it's no more yoga. It is just a business transaction. Over to you, sir.
Very well said, sir. That is the truth, unfortunately, and we are all victims of it. But and the idea of this series is to talk to thought leaders in this space so that we get the truth out there for our viewers. So I want to come to a question related to International Yoga Day. Ever since we started celebrating it, we have reinforced that the land of yoga, you need to look at us and, benefit from us. While as earlier it was all, it emanated from India, but was practiced in the West. In your view, since we started celebrating this day, how has it changed the perception, of yoga?
You want the honest answer? The honest answer, it is taking us from ignorance to greater ignorance. Because as long as we think that yoga is physical exercise and yoga is breathing techniques. I'm not saying physical exercise and breathing techniques are bad. Please mark my point. Physical exercise is very good, but we should not say, I am going for yoga class. We should say, I'm going for asana class or yogasana class. Your asana is very good for the body. The body is the temple of the spirit, of the soul. Therefore, we need to do asana. We need to do pranayama. All this is good, but this is not going to get you into yoga. And on World Yoga Day, if we want to pass a profound message to the world, yoga is a divine act. The yogi is the one who will be liberated from all suffering on earth. And if you are spiritual, then from rebirth. We should spread the message of what is real yoga. We must try to make people understand what it means to be a yogi. A yogi is not one who goes to some, if I can quote, I don't know, I saw some interesting series called Hot Yoga. And this hot yoga and people are wearing tight pants and sweating and certain. We are going from a level of ignorance to a level of greater ignorance, from avidya to avidya. I love to quote this, and I write some songs, and I love to quote, who's a yogi? योगी जो योग में सदा ही रहे, प्रभु के योग में रहे, संसार की माया में वो ना फंसे, सदा योग में वो रहे, प्रभु की प्यास हो सदा, प्रभु से प्यार वो करे, योगी वो है जो माया से बच के रहे, Prabhu ke yog mein rahe. We have to be a yogi. If you want to pass a profound message of truth, if you want to be one more me too into the yogic race, then we can, because it's very easy to make money. People get carried away, and then they are ready to get into any yoga class. This is my message to the world. If you are passing a message, let us understand yoga, yuj, union of the real self, what is known as self-realization. And then we correct. Yes, sir.
Right. So my final question is about, though you spoke about it, that we need to look beyond the physical aspect, because that is not yoga, that is asana, and that is very narrowly looking at yoga. So final closing comments for our viewers today. What would be your message to them on this important day?
My message to the world on the World Yoga Day is, let us understand the true meaning of yoga. Because yoga is the way to moksha. The ultimate goal, as per the Upanishads, as per scripture, is not dharma, artha, kama, but moksha. Talking it in today's language, most people, they spend the first 25 years of their life to learn, and then to earn, and then they die. Our life is not just meant to learn and earn. We must understand the purpose of life. And to understand the purpose of life, the path is spirituality. Spirituality is not a religion. We are not talking of any religion. It is a university. Religion is a kindergarten. So my message is, people must try to give yoga a chance. And yoga is the ability to be connected from the soul to the supreme soul. The soul is nothing but a supreme immortal power, a particle. It's a wave of the ocean. The ocean is the divine, the supreme. We don't know. No human being can define God. Therefore, we say God is Sip, a supreme immortal power. God is beyond religion. So my message is, try to live your day in yoga. When you get up in the morning, try to start with dhyana yoga. Spend a few minutes in silence. Then try to spend some time in bhakti yoga, in reverence, in devotion. Then you start your day with karma yoga, realizing that you are nothing. Realizing कि मैं क्या हूँ, कुछ भी नहीं. Because I come with nothing, I go with nothing. I'm just an instrument of the divine. And then you move to jnana yoga. You try to listen to some mentor, some spiritual master who is himself enlightened, and try. I was blessed to reach the fifth state of yoga. The fifth state of yoga, I call it prema yoga. When you say prema yoga, you see the divine in every human being. Every human being or every creature with alive is none other than a manifestation of the divine. Insan mein hi Bhagwan hai. When you realize this, then you get into the state of loving everybody, because you can't love God. How can you love God? You can only love God. Or Vivekananda, what did Vivekananda say? He said, Shiva Gyani Jana Seva. Jo Shiva ka Gyani hai, wo Jana ka Seva karta hai. You can only serve God by serving humanity. So my message is this. Evolve between these 5 states of yoga. Dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and if you can, prema yoga. Because prema yoga you will not find on the net. It's a blessing I received. If you can reach into a state of unison, if you can be united with the divine in a state of yoga, that would have achieved the objective of the World Yoga Day if we are celebrating something called a Yoga Day.
Thank you so much, Ravi ji, for sharing these wonderful thoughts. I was totally engrossed in this conversation, a lot of learnings, and I'm sure we can do many more such conversations. But on this big day, it's such a pleasure to have you on this series. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us all the way from Finland. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm air. Ravi is this body. I am not this body. When you're in yoga, you realize we are the Atma. Namaskar.
Very profound. So thank you so much. Thank you.